What is up, guys? Anime Logician here, and today we are doing a tier list based on the Spring Anime 2024 season. Now then, as I said before in my last video, I'm catching up on a lot of the seasons I've yet to actually watch, and I'm trying to catch up to the most recent season, which I think is winter, I believe 2025. I think no wait, winter 2024, 2025. I don't remember. All I know is that I'm about 2 whole seasons behind, so I'm catching up, and honestly I'm doing that at a very much faster pace than I would usually watch anime. So yeah, with that being said, hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get started. Alright, so quickly I'm gonna get this out the way. We have Spice and Wolf Merchant meets the Wise Wolf, and I'm gonna put this at did not see. I'm not saying it's bad, nor am I saying it's not good, but I did not see it, therefore I cannot judge it. I cannot give an opinion on it, and the sad thing is, I've actually yet to see the original Spice and Wolf, and I have a friend. He's actually a very avid fan of this anime, and he even reads the light novels. He says it's a very good anime, and I myself believe him because I've heard lots of things about the anime, so maybe someday I'll watch it, who knows. Next up, we have Demon Slayer. Essentially, on the meter of 1 out of 5, I gave this a 4. So it's definitely not perfect, just because this anime, or this season 4 of Demon Slayer only had about 8 episodes, if I remember correctly. And essentially, all the episodes really did give us info on were the background stories of the characters. And if you read some of the manga or some of the books catering to the backstories of the characters, and you'd realize that this episode was mainly for people who don't read the manga and aren't interested in reading the manga. So I'm gonna give this I'm gonna say it was great, but it's nothing amazing, it's nothing perfect, nothing we haven't seen yet. Essentially, I'd say this would be a 10 out of 10 for the people who don't read the manga, but I read the manga and I do watch the anime, so yeah, it's just getting an 8 for me. Next up, we have Kaiju number 8. Now, a lot of people are saying this could be the next My Hero Academia. I'm not entirely true how that is. I don't know where that data is based on, where they get their metrics from, or where that's coming from, but honestly, I think it's a pretty good anime. I would say it's one of the better shonen out there right now, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I just don't think it's on that same level as My Hero Academia, because I've seen every season of My Hero, and I remember at one point in time, everyone was saying that it peaked in season 2, and after that, it just had a whole downfall within the series itself, as in people stopped, having interest in the anime and watching it. Next up, we have Reincarnated as a Slime. This is a 5 out of 5, a 10 out of 10. I'm loving how Rimuru is world building the entire isekai world that he was thrown into, and to his beliefs and his ideals, thinking that humans, creatures, and everyone in between can basically prosper together under one rule, and that is under Rimuru's rule. And essentially, I own a lot of the seasons in my anime collection, and I actually am a big fan of the anime itself. Essentially, I remember Crunchyroll doing the whole Spotify thing where it said, oh, let's see what your anime watch list or your anime choices were like in 2024. Essentially, my favorite anime genres were between fantasy, isekai, and rom-com. So I'm just going to say that this was pretty much perfect. Next up, oh, speak of the devil, we have My Hero Academia Season 7. Now then, for those of you who said My Hero Academia peaked at Season 2, that is a lie. First off, the fact that we got to see Dabi facing his father, and the fact that we got to see Shigaraki become even stronger to the point he was taking out multiple primetime heroes just out of nowhere, it was a real good example of when people judge a book by its cover and have yet to reach the ending. It kind of makes you think, wow, My Hero Academia is actually so good, it's doing better than 90% of the anime in its current genre. I'm gonna say this. I have every season of anime of My Hero Academia within my anime collection as well. I have some of the manga from the anime, and I actually do love the anime a lot. My favorite character being Shigaraki for many reasons. And yeah, it's a perfect anime currently. I think it peaked in season 7 right now. Currently, it's doing much better than season 2. Season 2 was really good, but the fact that people still think that My Hero peaked in season 2, I think is complete ludicrous. It is ridiculous. Next up, we have Windbreaker. I gave this a 4 out of 5, so I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It's a great anime. Essentially, when I got into the anime, I thought it was something like Tokyo Revengers, and to a point it was, except the main difference was a lot of these kids are a lot of these teenagers and young adults were still in school somehow, and essentially there's no time travel in Windbreaker. Therefore, I'm assuming people won't get mad at the whole plot line to Windbreaker, as there isn't any like random time traveling as there was in Tokyo Revengers. But essentially, I still like Tokyo Revengers slightly more than Windbreaker. Next up, we have I was reincarnated as the 7th Prince so I could take my time perfecting my magical ability. I gave this a 3 out of 5 because, I don't know, the anime itself, I wasn't really into the main character a lot because it just felt that he was so powerful, so impossible to defeat. It was like, well, this is kind of boring. We kind of gave this main character the whole idea that, you know, he can't be killed, he can't be defeated, so it's like, you know, the character plot itself is already boring. But the anime did have its ups and downs. I felt that it was a pretty good anime. It was pretty good. I'm not gonna say it's better than Demon Slayer or Windbreaker, so I'm gonna give it a, I want to say it's between a 6 or a 7. I'm gonna give it a 6 just because, I don't know, there wasn't really anything in particular about that anime that just wowed me or was anything like special. You know, it was just another mid-tier isekai that just wasn't all that great. Next up, we have chilling in another world with level 2 super cheap powers. This anime here, I didn't really see anything special about it. I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is essentially average. I want to say this anime here, The 7th Prince, was better than this, so I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. This was the definition of mid. There was nothing great or special about this anime. It's just one of those animes that was just like mid-tier. Bam, that is it. Essentially, it's not bad or good. It's just one of those animes you'd watch to kill time and say, okay, well, that's cool. Next up, we have An Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Elf Bride. This was also a 5 out of 10. Again, nothing special. I feel these two animes could essentially, basically, have a lot on equal terms with rom-com. The only difference is rom-com is a lot more normal based in reality, kind of like slice and life, and no one is OP in a rom-com, and nobody is actually kind of like this weird reincarnated broken character, you know? While isekai essentially kind of takes bits and pieces of other genres of anime and kind of throws in the whole, oh, I was reincarnated, I'm a refrigerator. Oh, I was reincarnated, I'm an OP prince. Oh, I was reincarnated, I basically came back and did a do-over because the person I was supposed to kill killed me instead, so I have to do a do-over until I kill that person. So essentially, it's just like a back and forth with isekai, just taking bits and pieces of other genres and then trying to create a plot within that anime. And I don't know, I'm just not really into that because it's just basically recycling plots and stories at this point with isekai, and it's kind of like whatever. Next up, we have Go Go Loser Ranger. This was pretty funny, but nothing special. Generic shonen anime that didn't really appeal to me much, even though it was pretty funny. It just did not have anything special about it. It was, again, a mid-tier shonen, just your regular based shonen, nothing special. Next up, we have Remonster. This really bored me. Like, essentially, I had to force myself to watch this because it was just that boring. I just could not get into it, and it was just so boring. I like isekais. I love anime within that genre, and I love fantasy as much as the next guy. But this anime here was just like nothing at all special. It was just completely boring. Oh God. Next up we have As a Reincarnated Aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. This anime was so boring, so terrible. I'm in the Discord with a bunch of other people that have seen this anime, right? One day they were at a convention, decided, you know what, let's have an anime watch party. Let's check out this anime. At the end of the day, they said the anime was terrible, and it literally felt as if they were forced to watch it themselves just to finish it. So I'm going to give this a 2 out of 10. There was nothing interesting about that anime. I do believe in that. It was boring, terrible. I would rather watch paint dry than watch this again. That's just how terrible this anime is. Next up, we have Grandpa and Grandma Turn Young Again. So I'm gonna say this is another mid-tier anime. It's a chill anime to watch, but it's mid-tier nonetheless. And I do like the fact that, again, they were turned young. They became younger instead of older. But essentially, there was nothing else good about the anime. It was funny. It had its certain characteristics which made it, stand out a bit. But aside from that, there wasn't really anything noteworthy to take from this anime, aside from the fact that, hey, it's just two old people becoming young again and essentially living their young love life once again to enjoy it. And that's pretty much it. Next up, we have Unnamed Memory. This is a tough one. This anime was not better than The Seventh Prince, but I'm pretty sure it was better than half of these here so far. You know what? Nah. Let's give it a 6 out of 10 just because. I honestly felt that this was better than half these here. And essentially, even though there wasn't really anything special about this, I still enjoyed the action and the plot compared to these anime here. Next up, we have one of my all-time favorites, Date Alive Season 5. Now then, remembering Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3 for being perfect and how essentially everyone loved the anime, it came to my attention how Season 4 and Season 5 started becoming less and less liked and more disliked, which then, I realized something. A lot of people started disliking Date Alive because A, the harem wasn't as flashy as it used to be, B, it wasn't funny anymore, and C, the anime started taking itself seriously. And to my conclusion, here's what I have to say. Within harem anime, if the anime itself is trying to be serious, then there's only so much you can do to have a comedic scene or anything that is funny within the anime to just like pop out and just be funny, or like harem, for example. A lot of animes I've noticed, when they tend to not take themselves seriously or be more on the fan servicey side, the character development becomes kind of whack and no one actually cares about the anime after when it's done. Date Alive is at a point where it's done with the harem, it's done with the comedy. It wants to get into the serious business and take itself seriously. I do own majority of the seasons of Date Alive in my anime collection, And just because some people have told me that the anime has gotten slightly worse, I won't agree with them. As a matter of fact, I'm actually kind of glad Date Alive is taking itself a bit more seriously as compared to some other animes that should be serious, but for some reason, it's just more focused on the harem or comedic side of things. So I'm going to give this a... you know what, let's give it a 9 out of 10. I'm not going to say it was, better than Season 1, Season 2, or Season 3, but this is actually a pretty good anime, and I'd consider it perfect just because it is. And essentially, even though it's nothing compared to Season 1, 2, and 3, it is what it is, and what it is an amazing anime. Next up, we have Bartender, Glass of God. Now then, watching the original series from way back then, I do believe this anime is somewhat slightly a bit of a downgrade compared to the original. And on my 1 to 5 scale, I gave it a 3. And essentially, this is going to become something of a mid-tier anime. The original Bartender, Glass of God, I gave a 7 out of 10 to. And to me, this is going to be a 5 out of 10. It's honestly just an average mid-tier anime. It's not better than the original. The original had a lot more depth than this. And I feel the remake, I don't know why. There's just lots of animes being remade to the point where it's not getting better, or it's as if they're downgrading the anime for some reason. So, I mean, essentially, people can say this is good or mid, but I refuse to believe that it is anything near great or perfect. And then next up, we have A Salad Bowl of Eccentrics. I gave this a 5 out of 5, and this is an anime a friend had recommended to me, correct? Essentially, I didn't know much about this anime. I didn't even know it existed until my friend told me about it. He said, you need to watch this anime because it's nothing like anything within this season of anime. And I was like, are you serious? Oh, snap, I gotta watch this then. And to be fair, he was correct. This anime was very humorous. It did take itself seriously in some aspects, which is good because that's what keeps the plot running on and on. And to be fair, this anime could compare to a lot of the old school anime from back in the day, which were really funny to a point that in this day and age it would most likely offend someone. So essentially, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I'm not someone who's easily offended, nor am I someone who, cares to be offended. I mean, you could say whatever you want. It's not going to offend me one bit. Yeah. So let's go through this again. We did not get to see Spice and Wolf. Merchant meets the Wise Wolf. Essentially, we're gonna get back into that one day, someday, who knows. The anime is good, and so is the visual novel, as my friend has told me. This anime right here, this anime is terrible. Reincarnated as Aristocrat. I don't know why anyone likes this. This is just a flat out terrible anime. Just an anime I would never watch. Remonster was boring, but it is better than Reincarnated as an Aristocrat, which is facts. Most of these anime here, huh? Actually, let me do something here real quick. This anime, I will say, was slightly funnier than most of these. This wasn't all that great, but it is better than Go Go Loser Ranger, which is just like your mid-tier level shonen, which isn't much. And between these two, I think they're on point. This right here is perfect. This right here is perfect. There doesn't need to be anything moved or whatever. Essentially, what really surprised me was that this season of anime was extremely mid, and there wasn't anything interesting about it aside from like maybe 6 other anime titles, and that was it. Everything else was just kind of mid. Demon Slayer, I gave an 8 out of 10 because, again, I read the manga, so I don't need a backstory on all the characters as I've already read the manga. So I give it an 8 out of 10. But to people who don't read the manga, will necessarily most likely give this a 10 out of 10 just because it gives them, background info on all the characters, on who they are, where they came from, their tragic story, yada, yada, yada. Windbreaker, I gave an 8 out of 10. It's nothing like, well, certain points it's nothing like Tokyo Revengers, but that's one of the reasons why I like it is because it has a lot in common with Tokyo Revengers aside from the time traveling aspect and the aspect of, just a lot of back and forth here and there. They're also in school, so they're not like actual street gangs, but they are kind of in like groups and cliques and all that stuff. Date A Live Season 5. Even though the comedic aspect and some of the harem aspect is gone and it's taken a more serious toll within its outlook, I feel that that's a good thing, as a lot of anime that tends to be non-serious kind of goes forth the way of being forgotten, and people tend to forget about that. So essentially, even though I'm a bit sad that there is no harem or, funny business going on within the anime anymore, I do love the fact that it's taking itself a bit more seriously, which is why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. And out of these 4 perfect anime, oh boy. First off, My Hero was, in my opinion, the best anime for this season. A lot of people were proven wrong that My Hero Academia had peaked in season 2, when in fact, season 7 was just amazing. Like, I have no other words for it aside from it being perfect. Next up, we're gonna put, I want to say, this is a bit difficult. Actually, no. A salad bowl of eccentrics is gonna be here. I think this was better than these two, which, these two aren't bad. This was just a lot out there in the outfield where I didn't expect it, because I didn't know that this was going to be a good anime aside from it being a recommendation from a friend. So again, perfect anime. This I'm going to say is slightly better than this because the world building, the character development, I mean, essentially it's like comparing One Piece to Naruto, or let's say comparing this anime to, I guess, My Hero Academia if it was still in season 1. Essentially, this anime is better than this, and I'm not saying that Kaiju number 8 is bad. I'm just saying that this had a lot more character development and a lot more world building. And essentially, I don't think Kaiju number 8 is actually going to beat out Reincarnated as a Slime in any of those aspects. But Kaiju number 8 is still a perfect anime, and I do recommend people watching that. With that being said, if you have any comments, please let me know in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about the video, the tier list. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, and yeah. Thanks for watching. Peace.